I don't know what to say, really.
Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.
Hot route! Red 7, red 7, red 7!
Look for me in the end zone after this play. I'll be the guy holding the ball.
John!
What?
Red 7!
I don't know what red 7 means.
Hot route!
I don't. What is hot route?
I know football. What you did with those boys. You were the right man for the job, coach.
You're Hall of Fame in my book.
Featherstones, off to the races.
Road to Stonehenge!
Your seventh pick gives you what? A running back with a rap sheet?
You don't know who I'm picking, Seven, Tom. I'm not going to sell the farm for one guy.
Well, you should. Your farm sucks.
Order sucks. It really, really sucks.
You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
I think we ought to tell Coach.
Hell no, you don't want to know about this.
Yeah.
Swenson protected well, lost one to the end zone. Yes! Bidwell, touchdown Cardinals.
Oh, what a great effort. Did you see him go up on that ball?
This is your opportunity
For
here.
you. Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime. But I don't want your life.
Give me two.
Wow, wow, wow. What is up? Hey, look, it's me. Does this look strange? I'm in a hotel room. I don't have my beautiful green screen and my pretty lights. This is what you get in the raw Govier right here. This is the real deal. No bullshit. That's right. What is up? I'm in. The Tigers are still losing. I wanted to watch the game. And I was like, oh, man, I'd love to do a live show, but the Tigers game got delayed by 3 hours, and that wasn't great. It was disappointing.
Go Tigers.
But then the game started, and then Jack Flaherty fell apart, and it's 5-1, bottom 7. Right now, my pal, Sam Wershing, shout out, is really happy because the Mariners are going to win this game. Most likely, we'll see if a miracle happens, but, man, these Tigers don't belong in the playoffs. It's just like you can't get too hyped up. There's no reason for me to dive in and say, this is it. The Tigers will win. It's a bonus to be in the ALDS with this team. It really is. It's a bonus. The hitting is not there. They have everything else. I truly believe that, but the hitting is just not there. And that's the difference. That's the X factor. Anyways, you don't want to hear me bitch about the Tigers. You want to talk about Week 6, waiver wire, NFL. 5 weeks are in the books. 5 weeks. We did it.
Go Tigers.
Yep, no more go Tigers. That's it. 5 weeks. You happy? Who's happy? Who's not? Who's sad? Whose team sucks? Whose team's awesome? Who's crushing it right now? Jimmy, my main man in Delaware. What is up, brother? Hey-yo. I need my Delaware drop ready more often. Joe's here. Did you get stuck on the other side of the border? It looks like it, right? Actually, no. One night a week, I stay over for work. I've negotiated a deal with my boss and worked it into the contract. So one night a week, I stay over here, and it's beautiful. Look at this. I mean, you can't see what my view is right now, but it is gorgeous. There's nothing like Auburn Hills, Michigan, folks. If anybody's ever been to Auburn Hills, Michigan, and not for a sporting event, not for games at the Palace or concerts, which no longer exist. The Palace is no more. But that's where the Pistons had their heyday, part 1 and 2, Utah. I saw Tom Petty at the Palace in 2008. That was cool. Really enjoyed that.
Great job.
Good times. Chad says, on the bright side, the Yankee season is over. Yeah, I'm loving that. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Loving it. Jimmy says, I'm 1-4 in my home league, but I have Judkins, a chain, and Bill. I'm about to go on a run. That's right. Bill Bradsky is a son of a bitch. SNL? Chris Farley? Boom! I'm trying not to be too loud because I'm in a hotel room and I want to respect my neighbors, but, you know, it's tough not to get fired up when I do a show for you guys. I love it. I love it so much. 1-4 is not over. You're not done at all. In most leagues, I combined weeks and leagues. In most leagues, you still got 9 games to play still, at least, depending on your league situation. Maybe another one, maybe 10. But you can make a run. You can go 6-3 down the stretch. That's 7-6. That's doable, isn't it? Well, 7-7. Sorry. But 7-7 gets you in the playoffs, right? Just get in. Everybody has a story about how they dominated the regular season, then they lost in the first round of the playoffs. We all know the story. So you can do the opposite. Just barely get in and still win the whole damn thing. Win the whole fucking thing. Right? Hell yeah. Joe says, ain't over till it's over. You damn right, Joseph. Yahoo is 7-7 to make playoffs, I heard. Okay. What a crazy week in football, huh? Was it? How crazy was it compared to the week before? The week before that? I mean, it was. You're right, Joe. What am I saying? Maybe I was trying to block it out. Anybody have Arizona money line? Forget the 7.5. Did anyone have Arizona just to win?
Wow,
that didn't work out too great, did it? Yeah, Titans got their first win of the season. Congratulations. The Titans are a shit team. Trust me, they're shit. Their coach is awful. I don't have any doubts about that. But Arizona is Arizona for a reason. It's much like how the Detroit Lions, my home team, are the Lions, the same old Lions. Now, they've really tried to bust that narrative with this team they have the last couple of years. It's amazing. 10.5-point favorites on the road in week 5. It's too early to be that big of a double-digit favorite on the road. But the Lions were, and they covered against the Bengals because the Bengals are dead inside. And that's why they have Joe Flacco.
And that's all I have to say about that.
3-2 and 4-1. Nice, Joe. Solid. Survivor. Yeah, a lot of people got killed on Arizona. Also, the Rams. I got 1 strike in my Survivor. I've mentioned this before, but for any newcomers out there, I'm in a overall competition. It's got 5 different facets, right? 5 different competitions within the overall. It's called the pentathlon. 5 foot long. Wait a minute. Jared had some problems, to say the least. God, that's awful.
Great job,
Jared. You ruined it. But in the pentathlon, the Survivor is one of the challenges, but you get 3 strikes, not 2.
Utah.
You get 3.
Give me 2.
And I had my first strike. I was 4 for 4 so far, but I finally got hit on the Rams, even though I loved San Francisco plus 6.5. I took San Francisco plus 6.5 in all my pick'ems, and that ended up being great, but they won outright. I just didn't think – I thought the Rams would win, but it'd be so close because they're tight teams, the Rams and the Niners. We know that. They're division rivals, blah, blah, blah. Joe says, I'm done. Rams and Cards. Yeah, there it is. Chad says the Arroyo draft pick slowed down the train, but the A.J. Barner breakout is now full steam ahead. I love Arroyo, and Barner's scoring touchdowns. I guess it is here. Barner is a real deal, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to tight ends, here's my water. I only got here it is. The Crown Plaza. Anybody familiar? Anybody ever go to the Crown Plaza? Great water here. Not bad. Pretty damn good water, I must say. But last week I told you guys, or at least I mentioned this, and I can't remember. You guys can try to help me out, or if that person is here, I'd love to hear from you in the chat, which is wide open. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's,
Utah.
2 Z's. Follow us everywhere. MJ Govier, @_Mike VA for Mike Virginia, Big Gentle Ben for Benjamin Chase, Britton Allen, 2 T's, 2 L's.
Utah.
On Twitter, Blue Sky, all that stuff. Robbie Baseball, Sam Wershing, so on and so forth. And we're going to be live at First Pitch Arizona in a month. In fact, a month from now, we're going to be there live, and we're going to be having a ball in Mesa, Arizona at the Sheraton Mesa. Yay!
Great job.
Very excited for that. But there was somebody who needed a tight end, and he was getting desperate. And I said, why don't you pick up Theo Johnson? Theo Johnson. 2?
Utah. Give me 2.
Give me 2, Utah. Theo Johnson, 2 touchdowns, was a great fill-in for the first round of buys, like Tucker Kraft. I'd replace Tucker Kraft. Also, Brock Bowers. That was a great fill-in for Brock Bowers. It was glorious. Theo Johnson helped me win a couple more times this past fantasy week than I maybe deserved to because he had that 2-touchdown game. It was huge. Pickups like that are X factors. They're game changers. Little known guys. We're not really thinking about 2 touchdowns from a tight end. It's a big, big boost to your overall week. Thank you, Theo Johnson. I love you. Joe says, good week to pick the Raiders. Get ready for Kenny Pickett in the Superflex leagues. How many times? I picked the Raiders and the Jets against the spread this past week. I did.
Wow, dude.
I did. I really thought the Raiders were, okay, we really got to compete. I know Brock Bowers was out, but man, the Raiders are a disaster. Indianapolis is good, but they're not that good. I'm not buying that either. I'm not. And maybe I'm misreading Indy. Indy could be not only just like a first half darling, but they could be in the middle of a huge shift. The tribute, you know, Mr. Irsay, Jim Irsay, I mentioned this last week. He was big about crushing the stigma of addiction, drug use, drug abuse, substance use disorder. So I respected Jim Irsay. He passed, and now the Colts are winning for Jimmy. You know, this is the year. It's amazing. But Kenny Pickett, I guess. I mean, Kenny Pickett does not excite me at all. He doesn't. But Superflex leagues, got to take a look. There's no doubt about it. Derpy's here. What's up, Derpy? The toilet bowl this week, Titans Raiders. That is the definition of the toilet bowl. No doubt about it, right? Chad said, is that the one across from the convention center? I don't know. Is there a convention center here? Garbage time Flacco to Jamar Chase. Hope it's lit. Yeah, Joe Flacco's a Bengal now. Cool. Who's excited about Joe Flacco starting? Well, how about this? In-state rivals, in-division rivals, Browns and Bengals meet up. And they say, I've got an old man for you. And the Bengals were so desperate, they said, hell yeah, give me some of that Flacco. Can you believe it? Joe Flacco's a Bengal, a bungle, and he actually might he might do better. If he can he can chuck a long ball. Joe Flacco still knows how to throw the deep ball. He's one of the best deep throwers there was in the last 20 years. I'm serious about that. He really was. Flacco was an incredible long ball thrower. So Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, there's something there that's probably worthwhile. Even though Flacco couldn't get shit going for the Browns, but who can? Dylan Gabriel comes in. He was admirable effort, but there's not a lot of room for growth there in that offense this season. We expect the Browns to score 25, 30 points a game? Come on, dude. Judkins is the shit, as someone said earlier. I agree. He's the real deal, but that offense is putrid. So if Flacco could probably get a lot more out of the Bengals offense than he ever could have got out of this Cleveland, right? I mean, who disagrees with that? Can vouch for this man. I heard Theo Johnson. Yeah, Brian, you were here. I mean, it's all recorded live. So, Taysom 40 burgers. What kind of 40? He's going to score 40 points this week. Is that what you're saying against the Patriots at home? Taysom Hill returned, and he didn't do jack squat. He did have a 19-yard pass. I started him in a few lineups against my better judgment. I was thinking, okay, maybe I should wait a week to see what Taysom Hill does, because it's also a new coach, Kellen Moore, and even though Taysom Hill is a staple, he's always in New Orleans through every coach, every front office comes and goes, but there's Taysom Hill still playing the gadget role for the Saints. It's hilarious, but I should have waited a week. He's coming back from an ACL, and I'm hoping he goes for a 40-burger this week against the Pats at home. I'd love that, but the Pats are legit. But they're going to be down. This is classic NFL, right? Maybe this isn't classic NFL. Maybe things are changing. Or maybe I'm just picking the wrong favorites. Because there's still, or the wrong upsets. Because I had the Jags last night. They won outright. They were 3.5-point underdogs at home. They won. The Patriots were road dogs. They won. So they're out there, Mike. I think I'm just looking at the wrong ones. There's a few matchups I'm not seeing clearly. There are teams I'm not seeing clearly. And that's just the NFL. It is hard as hell to bet the spread in the NFL. It's crazy. Joe says, I sat Bill in both leagues thinking he'd break out next week. Dope! So did I. I actually, in the one league that I have him in, I started Chris Rodriguez instead of Bill, but I still somehow won a week. I'm very lucky. I don't know how it happened. And I had Brock Bowers in because I didn't have another tight end to pick up. This is over on the NFFC, which is the online championship, 12-team league. And they only have faab ads on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. So if you got doubts about someone not playing on Sunday, you got to take care of it the night before because you can't add anybody before kickoff. So when the word came down that Bowers probably wasn't playing, I just stoned out. So I was stuck with Bowers and a Tucker Kraft on a bye and Bill on the bench, but I still won. I don't know how it happened. I'm very grateful. It's not very often you get a break like that, but you take them where you can get them and you say thank you. Joe says he might not have much time to throw. Of course he's not, but Flacco's savvy old veteran, right? So he'll huck it, chuck it football. I don't know. Incoming, says Jimmy. All right. Joe says, how about the Patriots beating the Bills at home? I loved it. I love Drake May. I'm a big fan. I'm very excited. In fantasy, I think Drake May is going to continue to get better the rest of season. Now, one thing I have to kind of slap my face, beat myself up about a little bit, because some people in this chat, there was a lot of questions. In fact, not just some people, but a lot of people in the chat last week were asking about Stephon Diggs, trading for Diggs. We covered a lot of trade scenarios last week related to Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, right? And I said I wasn't buying the hype on Diggs. But now he has this huge game on Sunday night, and I have to reflect. Stephon Diggs may be good again. Like, he may be a legit wide receiver 2 at the very least in terms of your lineup. I just can't deny what he's doing. He seems to have had some type of revelation. He's coming back from an ACL, and he was already kind of slipping before that. So I was like, this guy, it all looks like it's downhill. But 2 straight weeks, he's been very solid. And that means he'll probably only get better barring injury. So I was wrong about Stephon Diggs, even though I still have my doubts. I do. And I'm going to stay true to those doubts because you got to stay true to what you really think is going to happen, or else you drive yourself crazy up here. You really will. You flip-flop on players, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't know. Who's who? What's a wide receiver? What's a running back? Who am I? What world is this? Ooh. You don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. So I still have my doubts about Diggs, but I'm admitting that there certainly is something there. So, delicious. Okay, looks like we got Jacob. Oh, Anthony's here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? How's that back? Hang in there, brother. Joe said Stephon Diggs was in a revenge mission. He certainly was. But I don't know why he was in revenge mode, because he screwed the team himself. Like, why would he be? He's mad at the Bills? The Bills gave him every chance to flourish. Whatever. Okay. Jacob over on Twitch. Yeah, we're always live on Twitch. I never check the Twitch. I admit that freely, but we are live there every time we do a show. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's.
Utah.
2 Z's.
Give me 2.
Maybe I should run a check over there on Twitch. What do you say?
Clark, it's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Maybe. Wait a minute. Oh, that's the wrong button. I've replaced that button? Oh, man, I can't believe I did that. I just sat there and I hit the Clark button from last week.
Thank you, Jesus.
Whoops. Anywho, Jacob says 12-man redraft, half PPR. A lot of great info here. Thank you, Jacob. 2 flex. All right, so we got a bunch of guys on here. You guys are seeing all the guys on the screen here. May, Bijan, Genti, Igbuka, who just keeps producing every week. God, I love Igbuka. Thank you. I drafted him as much as I could this year, and I'm so happy. JSN, Juwan Johnson, who might be losing time now to Taysom Hill, but we'll see. Also, Foster Moreau is back for them. Not that it matters really in fantasy, but you have to factor it into your Juwan Johnson shares. Bill Dowdle, 200-yard Dowdle. That will never happen again, but it did happen. And he's got Fields, DeMercado. What a loser. DeMercado is probably he needs Christ right now.
Thank you, Jesus.
After what he did in that Titans-Arizona game. Man, what a disaster that was. I love DeMercado. Remember last week I was having an argument about Carter and how much I love DeMercado? And I think, was it Joe was saying, like, at TCU he wasn't that great, or maybe he was more of a scat back and I was hyping him up from TCU, but after what he did Sunday against the Titans, man, DeMercado is on the do not draft list, the do not talk about list. I'm not going to talk about him anymore because he so failed himself as a man that I will not speak about DeMercado in 3, 2, 1. All right, so there's all the guys he's got dropping. He who shall not be named for Theo, Barner, or Tongas. I love Theo Johnson. Jackson Dart has a connection with him, but I also see why you like Barner. I just think Theo Johnson can have more of a target share going forward because Neighbors is out for the year. Yep, got that right. He's leaning Theo. I agree with that, Jacob. Also, keep Tootin or drop him for Fidel or Tracy. So we got another injury to the running back world. You know, the running back world started out so healthy, But then things have changed quickly. Najee Harris was gone, and now IR time for Omari Hampton. So sad. We're all sad. It's sad. It is. Probably won't get him anyway, but curious who you would pick. Also says that Ridley and Bond. I like Bond. The problem is I don't know if him and Isaiah Bond, I talked about him last week. I just don't know how many targets he'll get, how much of the share he'll get from Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel liked his tight ends in the game against Minnesota. Threw a touchdown to both Fannin and Njoku, which is great because I was really hoping Njoku would finally punch it in, and he did so. So I would say Theo Johnson there. That's where I'm leaning. I like that. As far as the Tootin, I would keep Tootin. I really like Tootin. And if anything happens to ETN, Tootin's going to run away with that job for real. I love Tootin. But we drop him for Vidal, who's... So now San Diego Superchargers. Yes, I call them San Diego. If you don't know the show, you don't know me. That's just what I do.
Go Chargers, go!
But it's down to Vidal and Haskins for now, right? I mean, who else is... Tigers are down 6-1 now. Cool. That's so cool. Wow.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Let's take a look at the snap shares here. No, I don't need a share price. I need my NFL snap shares. Let's pull up what happened in the game against the Commanders. I really thought I took the Chargers as a money line. I thought the money line at the very least was a lock. I really thought they'd bounce back after losing to the Giants, but the Chargers are slipping now, and they've got so many injuries piling up that it's not good. Yeah, it's really Vidal and Haskins. They split 21% of the snaps in that game after the fact. So Tracy's coming back, right? Tyrone Tracy from a shoulder issue. We're huge Scatabo fans. This is a Scatabo show. People know that about me. Love Scatabo. Love Scatabo. Scatabo, Scatabo. Scatabo or Scataboo, however you want to pronounce it. He did fumble against the Saints, right? So that was disappointing. He had 15 carries for 60 yards and caught 6 balls for 45 yards. So Scatabo, even though he doesn't score, he's producing in PPR, which I love. Tracy, we'll see if he plays. I mean, this is a short week, too. The Giants are playing the Eagles of all teams who just lost to the Broncos. And it's a quick turnaround Thursday Night Football. Giants are home. I feel like Tracy maybe sits this one out one more time, and then they bring him back. But I guess I'd rather have Vidal over Tracy, just because I like Scatabo so much. So that's where I'm at there, okay? Right. So many other people jumping in here. I want to give everybody their due. Give them their due. Joe said, yeah, I picked up Carter. The mistake I made was starting Marks over Bill. What did I tell you guys last week? This show right here. Now listen up. Everyone listen closely, okay? Pay attention here. Pay attention. I got something to say.
Great job.
I told you Woody Marks and that offensive line, even though Houston scored 44 points, he didn't even get any garbage time opportunities. Woody Marks was not the key. I said I'd rather start Chubb, and Chubb scored a touchdown, believe it or not. So slow. I don't need to say anything else because everything I said last week about Woody Marks ended up being true this week. Now, who the hell knows what'll happen next? Houston's on a bye now, so he can't help you this week. But Woody Marks took advantage of a situation against Tennessee where he got some garbage time, sort of, but it was also not very impressive other than the 2 touchdowns. He didn't have a good yards per carry in that game against Tennessee. And then suddenly a week later, he's not getting the snaps. He didn't get them. And there was a lot of opportunity to have snaps because Baltimore was awful. They were awful, guys, okay? So Woody Marks has nobody to blame except himself, or the coaching staff hates him for some reason that we don't know about, we're not aware of. I'm not sure exactly what it was that happened there. About those of you who are wondering, I'm being a little quieter because I'm in a hotel tonight. I'm on location, but I'm here live just for you. Love you guys. So here it is, yep. Week 5, look at that. Woody Marks got a few more snaps than Chubb, but didn't really do jack squat with it. Dameon Pierce suddenly got 23% of the snaps, and I just dumped all my Pierce shares. Isn't that hilarious? Woody Marks. Pierce had 7 carries for 21 yards. 7 carries for 21 yards. So now Dameon Pierce is very much back in this mix, and I drafted the shit out of him preseason thinking he would be the guy who might get the carries in that backfield. Then he doesn't do anything. Now he gets 7 carries for 21 yards. The week after, Woody Marks gets everyone's attention with his 2 touchdowns. So I'm just telling you what I'm saying. I'm pretty locked in on what's going on right now. I feel very confident about this season when it comes to fantasy, at least. Betting has been another matter. but I'm locked in, and my teams are in a pretty good position here, and I'm feeling good. So take that for what it's worth to you. Make your own choices and live with them. Joe says, wasn't Uncle Ted all over Vidal last year? Yeah, he may have been, but he never got a chance either way. So now Vidal was a little bit of a preseason darling last season, so now we'll see. But my man, Hassan Haskins, go blue from Michigan, is the man.
Great job.
And maybe Jim Harbaugh. I am Jim Harbaugh, not a former, but he's a lifelong diehard Wolverine. Maybe he's going to start his guy, Hassan Haskins, now and run him like he did when they beat Ohio State in 2021. That was awesome. I love that so much. God, I love that.
Go Chargers, go.
Reflex. Wow, we got another Twitch person? Holy cow, that's 2 already. Yo, what up, brother? I'm in a full PPR league. Start 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Bench 1. So we're just benching one of these guys. Drake London, Michael Pittman, Diggs, who we talked about already, Keenan Allen. Chargers, so this is a big question, also have Golden, but don't think I can start him over those guys. I would agree. I think that's very smart. Let me say this, Reflex HG. That's using the grape. Very wise. Because Golden is very, very talented, but I'm still skeptical that he's going to be someone we can rely on in fantasy. Jaden Reed's out. Romeo Dobbs is clearly Love's guy. Like I love Dobbs against the Bengals this week. God, that's got DFS written all over it, right? Everybody's going to have Dobbs in the lineups against Cincinnati, I would think, at home, coming off a bye. But maybe Golden, coming off the bye, can step it up this week too. But you still can't start him. You need to see it to believe it. So good point. So I'm not benching Drake London at home against Buffalo on Monday Night Football. No way. Pittman's got a real connection with Daniel Jones. I can't say anything about that. They got the Cardinals now. They're hosting the Cardinals. I'm telling you now, this is the hardest thing to do in the NFL, but I'm betting the Cardinals this week. Yeah, I said that. I'm betting the Cardinals this week.
Wow, dude.
Because when something happens like what happened to the Cardinals, they're a solid football team. They've got talent. They just had some terrible luck, some crazy-ass shit. It's a series of unfortunate events, lemony snickets, right? It was just bizarre. It was one of the most bizarre wins in NFL history. The Titans win over the Cardinals, for real, was one of the most bizarre wins in NFL history. No bullshit, right? So I'm expecting them to battle and give Indianapolis everything they got. The Raiders are dead men walking. Indianapolis can be exposed on the back end of their defense, and I'm going to stick with that. Sometimes it doesn't happen the week you want it to, and you got to wait a week. I'm sticking with it. I like Arizona on the road, but I would start Pittman against that defense for sure. Diggs against the Saints down in the Bayou. I don't love Diggs as much, but I can understand why you'd start him. It seems like a pretty good matchup. And then Keenan Allen's got Miami, who they're dead men walking, right? And now the Chargers are down 2 running backs. They're going to their 3rd running back of the season. This is the NFL. This isn't college. And you got to think, the problem is they've lost 2 tackles, right? They lost Alt and they lost Rashawn Slater in the preseason, who's an awesome player. So can they throw the ball more and trust that O-line? Herbert, Harbaugh, McConkey finally scored his first touchdown of the year. That was wonderful. Congratulations, McConkey people. Been waiting for that for a while. But we'll see. So Keenan Allen, I'd be interested in starting because the matchup is good, but let's wait and see on that. So I guess it's Allen, maybe. I mean, because I can't bench London, and I'm not going to bench Pittman. I don't have a lot of Pittman shares. I'm sure it's what you guys think. I'm curious. As Joe is reiterating what I said, the Chargers are in trouble. No O-line left. Agreed, completely. You also have to factor that into adding one of their running backs, too. How much can you trust the Chargers O-line to help the running backs out when it's not their best running backs anymore? That's a great point. You guys are making good points. You guys are smart people. Very, very smart. I like your style. Okay. So Jimmy says, tooting my own horn. Hey, zing, zing, zing.
Can't do it.
Why can't you do that? I can do that. One thing I learned you can't do, though. This is one thing. Don't do this.
Don't you ever fart on my tits again.
Okay. It's an important lesson. Jacob says, I literally live in San Diego. Hey, all right, cool. Well, then you're going to love this. Go Chargers.
Go Chargers.
Make sure you follow us on YouTube and subscribe on our YouTube. We'd love that. That makes the show better, helps the show grow if you care at all. Yosemite Sam's favorite player, Rootin' Tootin'. Jimmy says, I lost a 6-team parlay on the Chargers minus 2.5. I know how that goes, brother. I had a couple of touchdown parlays. They were all but one, except for one man. Jameson Williams in the afternoon slate. He screwed me. God, it hurt so bad. I thought him against the Bengals, he was going to score a touchdown. I didn't think he's going to, catch 10 balls, but he could score a touchdown, even running the ball against the Bengals, but it didn't happen. Sam Laporta did, which I called, but not Jameson Williams, and that killed me. Because I had Kyler Murray, McConkey, I had MHJ to score a touchdown, all these things. But Jameson Williams said, nope, that's what happens when you do a parlay. You're an idiot. That's me. I'm talking to myself. I'm the moron. Okay, you're talking to somebody in the chat now. I'm sorry. We talked about Yosemite Sam's favorite player. Yep, we did this one. Okay. During the week, will there still be MLB shows? Probably not. We're kind of on a break right now, buddy. Yeah, MLB is on the back burner unless you have a team in the playoffs. Otherwise, it's the time to rest and recuperate and take a break from fantasy baseball. Step away. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I need a break until I go to First Pitch Arizona next month live and in person in November. And then I'll be locked in again, and I'll start slowly building up for 2026 before the lockout happens and baseball stops play after the season. So enjoy next year, folks, because this is it. Because we got a lockout coming.
Wow, dude.
Sorry. Reflex saying, yeah, I'm leaning London Pittman Diggs. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you can go wrong there. Those are solid plays. No reason to be talked out of that. Drax says, are you trusting any of the Chargers running backs? Me personally, I'm not motivated to pick up Vidal or Haskins. But I can understand if you need to, go ahead. Pick up one or the other, because I'm not sure it's going to be clear which one gets the role. And even then, what kind of role is that? Who's the better pass-catching back? I think Vidal can catch better than Haskins can out of the backfield, if I'm thinking about it off the top of my head. But if you want hard stats, so Kimani Vidal was put on the practice squad, but he's going to be back, right? I assume, especially, that just must be a formality. Last year, Vidal had 5 catches for 62 yards and 1 touchdown on 9 targets. So Vidal's the pass-catching back. So if you play in PPR, I think I'd definitely pick up Vidal over Haskins. No doubt about it. Okay, we covered the O-line. I would do London, Pittman, Keenan, says Jacob. Great. This is cool. Reflex says, hey, I'm waiting for his big breakout game. Love been lighting up Dobbs. So he's talking about Golden. Hell yeah. Yeah, that Love and Dobbs are in love, my friend. You guys got a good conversation going on over here. Drac wants to know, would you gamble and start Haskins or go with Kareem Hunt, who is somewhat safer? Kareem Hunt and the Chiefs are taking on my Bozo Lions, Drac. I would start, actually, Haskins over Hunt. Yeah, if that's my choice, I'll go Haskins over Hunt, and I feel pretty confident about that one. Reflex says, it's a coin flip, man. Keenan has nicer matchups, but more confident in the Pats offense. For reals. Yep, Joe says dump offs to Vidal. Solid, like that. But he also says, or Haskins. Joe. Mac Jones or Jackson Dart this week? Ooh. I really like Jackson Dart. I'm a big fan, man. I'm becoming a fan of his in fantasy, for real. And in Superflex leagues, I got him in multiple leagues where I picked up when I needed another quarterback. But I'll tell you who's made my year. Sam Darnold in Superflex leagues has made my year. Because he was on tons of waiver wires after his first 2 weeks, and I picked him up in a couple of leagues, and he had 4 touchdowns against the Bucs. He's awesome. Sam Darnold's playing great. Sam Darnold's a fantasy stud right now, and he's got weapons. Very, very pleased for him. He can't win the big one, but fantasy is not about winning the big one. Fantasy is about accruing points week to week, and Sam Darnold can do that without a doubt. I got no doubts about that. I don't think Flacco makes it out of the Green Bay game alive this week. That's a fair point. We'll see. Flacco's tough. I mean, that's why they got him, too, because you could just beat the shit out of him. Even though he's old, he can just take a beating. He was always a very, very tough quarterback. But Mac Jones has made it interesting. Mac Jones has been a lot of fun for San Francisco, so we'll see. Mac Jones has Tampa Bay on the road in Tampa. So I don't think it's clear yet if it's going to be Purdy or Jones. But if you made me pick between these two, if Mac Jones ends up getting the start in Tampa, I'm somewhat into that. Jackson Dart against Philly at home on a short week. It seems like it's going to be tough. Like Philly's going to be pissed, I think, because they lost. And it could be one of those shitty outings on a Thursday night for the Giants. I don't have a lot of faith in it. It doesn't feel that good this week, facing that Philly D on a short week. So I might go Mac Jones if he ends up starting against Tampa Bay. Not Purdy, right? We'll see. Oh, here's another question. You can ask all the questions you want, Reflex. Live on YouTube here, Pallazzo. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, X, we're on all these places. Subscribe, like, connect. Pallazzo Podcast.
Utah.
2 L's.
Give me 2
Z's. One more question. Who do you like the most this week? Dak, Love, or Stafford? Dak has been lighting it up. He sure has. He's got the Panthers on the road this week. But, man, the matchups for Love and Stafford are amazing. They sure are. In fact, Jordan Love's matchup, the only question is, will it be Jordan Love or Josh Jacobs that goes off? I think it'll probably be Jordan Love. But Josh Jacobs, he's underrated. I truly believe, I never really was into drafting Josh Jacobs. But I saw the light this preseason, and I said, what are you doing, Govier? Draft Josh Jacobs. This guy's on an elite offense, and he scores touchdowns. He gets touches. The volume is there. He's the absolute number one stud running back for Green Bay. In a league that is filled with running back tandems, that is what is so special about what you can get out of Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. The volume, the consistency. I love it. As far as these quarterbacks, Dak, Stafford, or Love, I'm going to say it's Love, Stafford, Dak. Although Stafford could have a huge game against that Baltimore secondary and that garbage defense. It's
wow,
true,
dude.
He really could. So I think Love or Stafford, it's hard to go wrong. The only difference is that Jordan Love is in the confines of his home field after a bye, and Stafford's got to go cross-country to take him on in Baltimore, even though they suck. So these little differences, if you want to look at them, are the determining factors on whether you start Love or Stafford, right? Okay. Would you go Hunt over both Chargers options? I would not. Not me, no. No, sir. And Drac says, thanks. You're welcome, Drac. Glad to have you here. I love it. Love having people in his house doing their thing. Joe says, got to do Love. Okay, see, Joe's with me. We all know Love is a super safe play this week. Unless, of course, he gets hurt. How could I say that? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
Wow,
Sorry.
dude.
Sorry. Don't want anybody to get hurt. I want happiness for all. Fantasy happiness for all. Oh, Jacob says, I'm a Packers fan. Oh, are you the guy who lives in San Diego? So I want to say Love against a Cincy team that is absolute dog shit. I love that. I love when people swear in the chat. I don't get enough of this. Dog shit? I love it. Mwah. Jacob, you belong here. Make sure you get on our YouTube and subscribe to our channel, please. Thank you so much. But maybe go Stafford versus struggling Baltimore D. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. The Rams lost a heartbreaker. They're going to be pissed. It should be a solid effort. Jacob says they should have traded for Shador or the Jameis Winston show. It's not a bad idea, but there's no way. Here's what's going on with Cleveland. I think the owner forced them to draft Shador because they already drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. Then in the 5th round, they take Shador. I think it's because Jimmy Haslam, that crazy maniac who also was the driving force behind bringing Sean Watson to town and Baker Mayfield getting kicked to the curb, which was stupid as fuck. Yeah, that was so dumb. But I think maybe that's what's going on there. It's weird. Kevin Stefanski's a good coach, but I don't think it's going to last in Cleveland. He might need a new start. I think Stefanski's a really solid coach. I do. He won a playoff game with Baker Mayfield, right? That happened. Reflex says, the Ravens defense has me contemplating my life choices. Worst Ravens team I've seen in my entire life, LOL. $160 million injured. 2015 all over again. How can you win?
Wow, dude.
Are you a local in Maryland? Or are you just like are you in Baltimore? If you're new to the show, Reflex, I used to live in Maryland. Lived in Maryland a couple years. Glen Burnie, Severna Park, Annapolis area. Good times. A lot of fun. This is one of those just crazy seasons like the Lost Year, the Year from Hell, Welcome to Hell, bad breaks galore. It's just the way it is. Sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. The Ravens are a fun team. When they're not playing the Lions, I like to root for the Ravens. I love Lamar. Born in B-More, live in PA now with all these rat Steelers and Eagles fans. I can't stand them. Reflex, these newcomers on Twitch tonight are a welcome breath of fresh air. Not that we don't already have a killer-ass live chat, but getting the newcomers coming in, bringing in the fresh blood, I love it. Thank you for being here. I'm Michael Govier. You can follow me on Twitter X at MJ Govier. Let's cut to a few things here. I'm going to get off because, you're lucky you're getting a show at all tonight because I got a lot going on in my life. a lot going on, for real. There's some busy shit, serious shit going on. But I'm alive, and every day above ground is a good day, right? Remember from Scarface? That's what Mel says. Hey, Mel. Mel says to Tony, you should smile more, Tony. Every day above ground is a good day. I love Scarface. I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. I love it. I could watch it anytime. Anytime. Put Scarface on, and I can't stop watching. I just can't. Always got to hear about the Steelers' 6 rings. Most of them came when these fans' parents were paying 10 cents for a gallon of milk. Those were the days. Hell yeah, man. I love it. Jacob says, amen, brother. Okay. Joe Lowry says, I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Joey! Hi, Joe. Joe is, for those you newcomers over on Twitch, Joe, say hello to Jacob and Reflex. We got some newcomers, some flesh blood tonight. Love seeing that. Don't forget about Drac, too. How you doing, Joe? Let me know how you're doing. You're a good man. Joe's the best. If you want to know anything about Dynasty Fantasy Baseball, Joe is really good at that. So make sure you check out Joe. And the other Joe, thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for always being here, Joe. Thanks for being consistent and being a part of the live chat. It makes the show this much better when we get regular contributions like from Joe Chris and Joe Lowry and Reflex and Drac and Jacob and everybody else, my man Jimmy and Delaware and Chad, the old timers. We got the old timers and the new timers here. All right, I'll cut this shit. Here we go. Last thing says Reflex. Yeah, see, normally when the Orioles disappoint me, I have the Ravens to fall on. Now this season, I'm suicidal. Yeah, well, I feel you there, man.
Wow, dude.
Orioles, what a nightmare it was. Would you rather be the Orioles, who just totally fell apart this year, or the Tigers, who barely get into the playoffs and then they're like just maddening? They score 1 run a game, but somehow they advance to the next round, and it just drags on, but you just know deep in your heart they're not going to win. I'm curious what you'd rather be. Reflex says, Tigers, at least they can run a franchise and keep some players. That's very suspect, actually. You know, the Tigers, if you hadn't heard, Reflex, there's a big article came out about them about a month ago, about all these assholes and these douchebags that were treating women like objects and doing as they pleased. Classic, outdated scumbaggery of the highest order from my hometown team, the Detroit Tigers. But I'm not surprised, because you know who owns the Tigers? Chris Ilitch. He's a huge piece of shit, and I can't stand his ass. Damn! That's true. Chris Ilitch is a scumbag. But if you're an MLB owner, really, it's just insert owner's name here, scumbag. Right? Oh, man. Maybe MLB should run a check on who runs teams and owns teams, but I don't think that's going to happen. I would love to get a check, but you know, we don't get those checks sometimes. We as the people see them, but we don't get them ourselves. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's always that's the slogan here. That's one of our staples. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So you better run a check. Yeah, I don't know if people in MLB really think about that.
So you better run a check. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
We just fire sale the team every time arbitration passes. Orioles' way of winning is just farming players for other teams. Hey, ooh, Reflex is on one tonight. I love it. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Joe Chris says, and yeah, anyone with that much money is probably a scum. Brian jumps in and says, great advice. Oh, isn't it so wonderful that all of us here in this chat are smarter than the rest of the world? The wisdom we have here is palpable. Can you feel it? All right, a couple tidbits here and I'm out. So I thought maybe I'd do you a solid. You could take a look at my teams. So instead of like just talking about stuff, let's just see what I got going on. So this is my NFFC team over on NFFC, which is a 12-teamer. Okay, and I got Jordan Love and Fields as my quarterbacks. I'm sitting very pretty. Even though Fields and the Jets can't win, Fields has been one of the best quarterbacks for fantasy this year, outside of the 1 week he couldn't start because he had a brain death, concussion. And Jordan Love, between him and Fields, I'm never going to pick up another quarterback in this league the rest of the season. I don't see a need. Do you? RJ Harvey, real hit or miss. JCM, Bill. If Bill can take off, man, this will be huge for me. I need him to be consistent. I need a consistent running back on this team. As you can tell, Look at these running backs who could be contenders. Shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Chris Rodriguez, Isaiah Davis, Trey Benson. Oh, God, Trey Benson, what did you do to me?
So you better
run a check. That's what I should thank Jesus that I even have a running back to start.
Thank you, Jesus.
So I'm grateful I got him. As far as wide receivers, Jameson Williams is best ball material. I never should have drafted him in a 12-team fab waiver wire league. That was a mistake. Debo's been awesome. It's been a big bounce back for Debo. Mika Egbuka is a god. Tucker Kraft is a startable tight end every week. Rashid Shaheed, he scored. See, that's what sucks. I had Rashid Shaheed to score a touchdown. He was plus 380 to score a touchdown against the Giants, and he scored on that 87-yarder, man. That was so much fun. So very excited about his possibilities rest of season, especially with the Saints trailing a lot, throwing a lot. Shaheed, he's got value. Look, Shaheed is outscoring Jameson Williams easily. Look at that, 39 points to 63 points. And then my bench, I thought Hunter Renfrow coming into Sunday had 6 red zone targets. He had caught 5 of those 6, so I thought maybe there'd be some more touchdowns in the mix, but that didn't happen on Sunday. It did not. So what's the YouTube name? It's a Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z. Pallazzo Podcast. I can't believe I don't have a banner up or any of my because it's just me. Let's see. How about this? Nope. How about this one? Nope. How about this one? No. It's the Pallazzo Podcast. Let me just pull it up on YouTube and share it with you guys. 2 L's, 2 Z's, so you can remember it. It's real easy, right? Utah.
Give
me 2. There
Give
you
me
go.
2.
And if you go to youtube.com, there it is. Now I'm going to pull it up. 3. This is repetitive for all the regulars, but newcomers need to know this stuff. Okay? This is our channel right here. Check it out. So you go to youtube.com/Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
And
Give me
you'll
2.
find this guy up here from Game of Thrones, Sean Bean, telling the baseball people they got to deal with it. Football's here. And there it is. Pallazzo Podcast, Fantasy Sports. Okay? That's where you find us, my friend. Great to have you here, Jacob. Really appreciate it. You are a demand. Reflex says, Ubaldo. He's still talking about the Orioles. Ubaldo Shitter Jimenez lets Encarnacion hit an absolute bomb. Whee! Oh, yeah. That was the Zach Britton fiasco, right? Garbage Time Heroes always wanted to name my team that. You should. Oh, the Yanks tie it up, huh? Wow. Oh, I got a TV over here. Yeah, it's 6-all. Ben Rice is up. Well, that sucks. Bronson's here. What's up, Bronson? Trade Devontae Merritt Bill. Trade Devontae Bill and Olave for CD. No way. No way. No way. Way too much. Way too much. Way too much. Way too much. Joe giving me a shout out. Govier runs a real tight ship. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you noticed that, Joe, because I do try to run a tight ship and keep things organized, moving, but in every facet, audio, visuals, information. That's the 3 keys right there, the 3 keys, even though it's 2 L's,
Utah.
2 Z's.
Give me 2.
No, don't do this trade. I think everyone would agree with me here. No way in hell, right? No way. Devontae Adams, Bill, and Olave. I love Devontae a lot. And he's got real value this year. So maybe I'm overvaluing the cumulative total of the 3 for 1. Plus CD coming back from an ankle injury. I mean, I know he's super talented. There's no doubt about it. Bronson says, would you do just 2 of them for CD? Yeah. I'd consider doing a twofer. If you want to do Devontae and Olave, I'd do that. But I think 3 is too much. I try to get the 2 receivers for the 1 receiver and keep Bill, because that should be his job rest of the season, barring injury. Even though I still like Chris Rodriguez, guys, I am. I'm stuck on Chris Rodriguez. I just got a thing for him, so I'm always gonna say I love him. I love you, Chris Rodriguez. The movie. Just remember, says Joe Lowry, England is under threat of invasion, and though we be on the far side of the world, this ship is our home. This ship is England. Beautiful, Joe. Thank you. That is an insider joke for those of you that are new to the show, but you'll learn. You'll learn. Reflex said, have fun hanging out. Dropped a follow. Appreciate the advice, brother. Oh, thanks for being here, Reflex. Make sure our Discord is totally free. The link is in our description. Make sure you get in that Discord and start hanging out. Guys, the Discord's totally free. And that's a great place to talk ball, both football and baseball, all season, all year long, okay? And like other random stuff that just on your mind. The Discord is open 24 hours a day, 365. It never closes. Never closes, okay? Thanks, Reflex. Get in there. Good to see you, brother. Right, just remember that. I got that. Evans here says, I need waiver wire trade help. You got it. Oh, wait. I just want to get Joe's comments on the last deal. Don't trade Bill. Looks like Tiki Barber. Ooh. Wow, interesting call. I like that comp. That cutback Bill made was sick. Okay. Cutback is a lost art in the NFL. All right. Interesting perspective. Did you get all that, Bronson? That was Joe's opinion. Don't trade Bill at all. He's very serious about it. All right, now over to Evan's trade scenario. He needs waiver trade help, okay? He lost Connor, Eckler, and Hampton. I'm sorry. If we had talked on this show, I might have talked to you out of 2 of those 3 preseason. But, hey, we didn't meet till now. We're connected now, Evan. It's great to have you here, okay? So I need a running back. My running backs are Scat and Kendry. Do I pick up Hunt, Haskins, or Vidal? Also got offered Carter for Travis Hunter. Do I pick up Hunt, Haskins, or Vidal? So are we really living in a world now where Kareem Hunt is still relevant? And not only is he relevant, we're excited to pick up Kareem Hunt because he scored 2 touchdowns. So against the Jags, he had 7 carries for 50 yards and 2 tutties. He only had 1 catch. What was his snap percentage? Let me pull that up because I'd like to know what Kareem Hunt's snap percentage was compared to the rest of the running backs on that team. Pacheco totally outdid Hunt 63-33, which was great to see Pacheco get more of the snaps in that offense. But clearly Hunt was put in a position to score from the goal line, right? So 3 of Hunt's 7 carries last night came from 5 yards or closer. So he's clearly the goal line back in KC if you're looking just to focus on touchdowns. But the volume should still be Pacheco's. And then there's Brashad Smith, but he's just in the mix apparently. So would you rather pick up Hunt, Haskins, or Vidal? I'm going to say Vidal. I think there's maybe something there. Just because he can catch more balls, too. Is this PPR, Evan? I'd like to know that. And as far as the Carter for Hunter deal, so Hunter, he's got a nice catch last night. We finally saw a little bit of production from Travis Hunter last night, which is cool to see. It was a primetime game. He had 3 catches on all 3 targets for 64 yards. Travis Hunter did. And in terms of how many snaps he played on offense last night, Travis Hunter played 67% of the snaps, which is right there with BTJ and everybody. Oh, interesting. That's a nice number for him. I like to see that. This is, by the way, courtesy of the Football Guys. Shout out to them. You guys have an awesome site and your information's sweet. Hunter has gone up in his snaps from last week, and he was in the 50s, although week 1 he was in the 60s as well. Got back to the 60s last night against the Chiefs. Now, Michael Carter, if you want to look this up, comparatively between him and DeMercado. Oh, I'm not supposed to say his name. Oh, shit. I said it. Oh, man, my bad. Not supposed to say his name. He who will not be named had 28% of the snaps. Carter had 58. And Bam Knight got in with 16. And all 3 of these guys, Bam Knight scored a touchdown, right? Michael Carter scored. Kyler Murray scored. Carter, last week was it Joe Chris was saying I think Carter could be like a game changer rest of season. Was that you, Joe? I believe it was. So trading Carter for Hunter. Connor's lost for the year, so Carter has a job for the rest of the year. And after what old Bozo, his teammate, did at the goal line by dropping the ball, flipping the ball at the goal line like he was hot shit, I'm sure, because we all saw Jonathan Gannon was pissed. Head coach of the Arizona Cardinals was pissed. I can't believe he apologized for being pissed, though. Apparently he apologized the next day. I was pissed that he apologized for being pissed. He should have been pissed at what DeMercado did, who I'm not supposed to name. But Carter's got an open door rest of season for volume there. And Travis Hunter is a novelty act. Maybe Travis Hunter gets more targets, but he only had 3 targets. And the only reason his night was halfway decent was because he caught all 3 of his targets for 64 yards. If that's 3 targets for 25 or 30 yards, that's nothing. Hunter is the bigger name, the more sexy name, but I might say I'd rather have Michael Carter. And I think I'm going to lock that in. Yep, I am. I think I'd rather have Carter than Hunter. And maybe I'll come to regret this because I'm not looking at the big picture, but I'm pretty good at looking at the big picture. I feel like I know a thing or two about a thing or two. But that's my opinion there. That's a good question. Great stuff there, Evan. Hope you're subscribing and like the YouTube. We would really appreciate that. You know how that shit works. Asan says, would you be selling Scat? I'm worried about the offense and Tracy coming back. Depends what you're selling it for. I'd be willing to talk because Tracy will be back. As I said earlier in the show, worst case scenario, Tracy's back after this Thursday night tilt against the Eagles, right? But I love Scatterbo, and he can take volume. But the Giants' offense is the problem. It's not necessarily Scatterbo's fault. He's got to not fumble, of course. But I think him and Dart are their future, although Tracy's young enough, too, to be part of the future as well. So I'd be open to it, but I'm curious what targets you're looking at. Gittleman also says it's a half-point PPR. Okay, so going back to his question about would you rather have Carter or Hunter or Hunt, Haskins, or Vidal? Hunt will get goal line carries, but Vidal could get more PPR plays, and it could end up balancing out. If Hunt scores 1 touchdown and has, 45 yards, versus Vidal has, 10 to 12 carries, catches 5 balls, and has 75 total yards, I think that equals out or slightly ahead in the end anyways, right? Oh, I can't believe I haven't talked about this. Brian, my man, is Mark Sanchez worth a stash on the IL, or is it safe to cut? Oh, man, I love you. Brian, I love you. That is so funny. I'm sorry I didn't get to this sooner. I apologize. Oh, man, that's funny. You know, he needs to run a check. Mark Sanchez.
So you better run a check. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Brian. Seriously, though, hope brother gets help. I think we've all been drunk and done regrettable shit. Ain't that the truth? Holy cow. I'm thinking right now about some of the most regrettable things I ever did when I was drunk. Oof. 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 Oh, I don't want to think about those things. Mistakes were made, right? We all agree? Mistakes were made? Can we just move forward from that? Right? Okay, thank you. Tough break. Mark Sanchez, be well. But also to the guy who got fucked up by Mark Sanchez, I hope you feel better. Get well. All right. So, I was going through my teams as some final consultation to you all. Let's go back to the teams, and I'll look at the waiver wire real quick and get out of here. I really do have to get out of here. I got to call my fiance. All right, so this is a team that's 3-2 right now, hanging tough. It's a Superflex league, as you can see. Whoop, there you go. Let me zoom it in a bit so it's easier to see. Michael Penix, love him against Buffalo on Monday night. You know, everyone seems to make fun of my guy, MHJ, but, 4 catches, 98 yards, didn't get that touchdown. He had a touchdown and it was overturned. And then Carter scored from a yard out. But every week, he's, okay, these 2 weeks were pretty, I'm not going to take that back. Okay, he's had a couple of good weeks, and I'm still believing in him. I think he can really take it to that Indianapolis defensive backfield this weekend. I like him a lot. JSN is a god. Olave in PPR racks up the points just because he gets a lot of catches, but the yardage is not great. Kenneth Walker III, I love him. I mean, look, he didn't get a lot of volume in the Tampa game. He got 10 carries, but he made the most of it with 86 yards, and he only had the 1 catch, which is a bummer. Charbonnet apparently is playing a lot more in the clutch moments, like in the 2-minute drill as well. That's a concern for me, but clearly Kenneth Walker III is important to their offense. Taysom Hill, I want to see what he does going forward, but he's going to do some stuff. I love that Laporta finally got off the schneid, scored a touchdown, had 92 yards in the win over the Bengals. That was awesome. And I like Jackson Dart as a secondary starter in Superflex leagues. I've been starting him as my second quarterback in a lot of leagues. But I do have Justin Fields. The problem is he's taking on that Denver defense. It's in London. But Dart's taking on Philly, so I might end up putting Fields. Yeah, in fact, I just put Fields in the lineup. There you go. Got Jordan Mason. He's on a bye. I got Wandale. Against the Saints, he had 7 targets. He did have 1 rush, which is cool to see that. I hope they'd get more of that in the mix with Wandale. I think he's still somebody you want to roster. Dalton Kincaid has been a solid tight end this year. T. Higgins, you just hope that Flacco can get something going. Higgins did score a touchdown against Detroit in garbage time, but 7 targets for 3 catches for 22 yards is not good, as we all know. And Jaden Reed. Also, these defenses, I love the Houston D. They're on a bye, so I'm going to drop Arizona's D in that league, obviously. This is the pentathlon. Another, what we got here? For teams rostering the Tennessee or Arizona defenses, we have made a scoring adjustment for the play resulting in an interception, fumble, and recovery for a touchdown. Tennessee defense will be credited with a touchdown. Arizona D will be charged with 16 points allowed instead of 22. Oh, cool. That's fun for me. Lockett is not credited with an offensive touchdown. Interesting. That's fun to see Yahoo getting in on that. Sam Darnold's a god. Puka's a god. Olave, we covered him. Bourne, I posted a video on Wednesday, the next day after I did last week's show, about how it add Kendrick Bourne. I love Kendrick Bourne this week. And what did he do? You all know what Kendrick Bourne did. He had 10 catches for 142 yards. That was awesome. That was so awesome. Man.
Great job.
That was awesome. That was one of my best calls ever, and he totally came through for me. I don't know if that's going to last going forward because Juwan Jennings is back, Pearsall's back. That's going to be a problem down the road. I totally get that. But Bourne is a guy who can play. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. This is Jacobs from Twitch, by the way. Oh, okay, Slapsky. Slapsky and Jacobs are the same person. Wow. I just had my mind blown. Oh, man, very cool. So Slapsky's saying, Jacob. Hey, psst. It's Jacob. It's Jacob, guys. Jacob. Did I just get that? Oh, my God, I'm so dumb. Wow, I'm stupid. Isn't that funny?
Wow,
2 big trades I made in my work league. I gave Chase Brown and Bowers to get Genty and Egg. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Bowers with this knee issue, it's looking like it could be a lost year 2. Maybe they'll have some good weeks towards the end, but they could also shut Bowers down for the year. The Raiders are so fucked that Bowers can end up being like, let's just shut him down and see him next year. That could happen, maybe. So that's a great trade. Great trade. I love this trade. You get out of Chase Brown and Bowers, and you get Genty and Egbuka, guys who will get volume and who can play. I don't care if they're rookies. I love it. What a great trade, Jacob, Slavsky, whoever you are. Hassan's coming back, say, would you trade Scat for Ken Walker? Ooh. Wow, that's a good one. Let's go to the tape here. Because I think I want to look at schedule here, just to be clear. So Kenneth Walker, the Seahawks are at Jags, and then they got home for Houston, which is tough. Then they're in a bye. Then they're at Washington. They got Arizona, at the Rams, at Tennessee, Minnesota, and then playoff time at Atlanta, Indiana, the Rams, at Carolina. That's a great schedule for Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks. As far as Scatabo and the Giants, they got Philly, then they're at Denver, at Philly, San Francisco, at Chicago. Great matchup week 10. Green Bay, at Detroit, at New England, bye week 14. And then for the playoffs, Washington, Minnesota, and at Vegas. It's a pretty good schedule, too, towards the end. I mean, there's some tougher ones in between. And then it just comes down to volume opportunities, right? Wow. Oh, Chad saying the Yankees rallied from down 6-1. Absolute. Oh my God. Yeah, it's 6-6 still. Absolute insanity. I saw the shirt. That was amazing. Nice work. Oh, the short. Oh, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I totally nailed it. That Bourne call was an all-timer. Thank you. See, I'm so glad that you saw it, Brian. I never know. I don't get much feedback on the shorts ever. So
great job.
Thank you. Yeah, the day before posted a video on our YouTube channel and on our Twitter feed, which you guys can follow anytime. And on the TikTok. We do have a TikTok. I don't post it much over there, but Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
On TikTok.
Give me 2.
The day before, Bourne went off for 10 and 142. I'll never do better than that, probably. I don't know if I'll ever top that, right? That was amazing. Second trade here. I want to go back to this one, though. Final verdict on this. The Seahawk offense is more viable. They're going to score more. Kenneth Walker's in his prime years right now. I know he's got a battle with Charbonnet. But Scadabo's a rookie. He might hit a rookie wall, and Tyrone Tracy will be a factor. And the Giants' offense is not as good as Seattle's. So I think I love both Scadabo and Kenneth Walker III so much. I love both of these running backs. But I think I'll go Walker by a hair. By a hair. It's real tight. Real tight. Slapskis, Jacob's second trade, gave Odunze and Pollard for Bijan last week. Love it. That is such a great trade for you. It's stupid for the other person. They gave up Bijan for Pollard and Odunze. I love Rome Odunze. The guy's a badass. Pollard on Tennessee, I know he's there, but I just think that's a mistake. I think we all would agree this is a mistake, right? Not for you. You got a great deal on that end. Joe says, sorry, I'm a Threads-only guy when it comes to social media. Oh, man. Okay, well, I understand, and good for you.
Great job.
Joe, I'll try to catch you on Threads when I can. I will. Asan says, appreciate how in-depth you are. Knew it was a tough one. Thank you, Asan. It is a tough one. For me to give you a clear-cut answer more than I gave you, I don't know what else you can say. In the end, maybe flip a coin, but there's a few details that are X factors that make it slightly more. If it's pure talent, Kenneth Walker is more talented than Scadabo. I don't think that's up for debate. Scadabo has talent, but he's also a workhorse. He busts his ass. He's got a high motor. Kenneth Walker has a high motor, but he also has the talent to take it to the house and just. Kenneth Walker used to be a guy who runs for 1,500 yards, but they have Charbonnet there, and I know that Walker doesn't stay healthy that much either, so they're probably trying to protect Walker. That's actually one final point, Asan. Walker is always going to be protected because of his injury history, and that might limit some of his carries and opportunities. And you do have to think about that because Seattle clearly has designs on making the playoffs, and they very well can. They could take the division. They lost to the Bucs at home, which sucks. But the Seahawks are in the fight for the NFC West. You know, Kenneth Walker, he's had 10 carries, 13 carries, and 10 carries in 3 games. The other 2 games, he had 16 and 19. And one of those, there was no Charbonnet. When Tyrone Tracy comes back, if he gets re-injured, then it's Scadabo's open door for the rest of the season. And one other thing about Scadabo is that he can have touchdowns vultured from him because Jackson Dart is a threat at the goal line to score. Jackson Dart can run it in. So I think all those things, now that we're really fleshing it out, yeah, I'm still confident. I'm going to say Kenneth Walker, and I think it's fairly clear. Okay? There you go, Sam. Thank you so much. As far as the waiver wire real quick, because I got to go, so let me just look. So Matthew Golden he's rostered in 74% of Yahoo leagues, so that's tough to find him, but he's available in this league I'm in. Interesting. I'll take a look at him. Obviously, Haskins and Vidal. I prefer Haskins is the guy who can grind out the yards better than Vidal. Vidal's the pass-catching back. Haskins is the grinder and the goal line back. So if they end up splitting those duties, it could just be dead even all the time, too. The only advantage I gave was Vidal as a pass catcher over Haskins. That's it. But, Haskins is a guy who scored a touchdown last year in the regular season on a receiving touchdown. He had 3 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown last year on all 3 of his targets. So Haskins can catch the ball too. I don't want anything to do with that situation. I'm trying to avoid it. But if you're looking for edges and you're desperate for running backs, you got to buy with Houston and Minnesota. Only 2 teams on a bye this week, which is good.
Utah, give me 2.
Troy Franklin, he's still a part of that offense. I like him as an ad. I'm hoping Roman Wilson in Pittsburgh, maybe he can get some more opportunities to play as a wide receiver. That's a deeper cut, something to think about. Kayshon Boutte, he hasn't done anything since week 1, but he's still out there a lot. I believe he's still getting a lot of run per snap basis. Yeah, he had the most snaps of any wide receiver in the win over the Bills. Kayshon Boutte did. So I still like him. He still has value, and you can add him if you need to take a look at a receiver, if you got injuries. We talked about Tyrone Tracy coming back. I still think maybe he doesn't play Thursday, but comes back after that. I love Torrey Horton in Seattle, but it's too up and down, uncertain. If he could get the more consistent reps and targets, then Torrey Horton by end of season, Torrey Horton really could be a bigger factor. But he's already making plays when it comes to touchdowns. But for fantasy football, we need Torrey Horton to get consistent targets, right? And the rookie, he gets no more than 4 targets a game. And he's only making himself somewhat interesting because he's scoring touchdowns on 3 catches for 30 yards, right? Other than that, it's kind of a... I don't like Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't care what he does with Mahomes. I don't buy it. Jerome Ford got a couple more carries, but he's still not doing anything that's worth noting unless there's an injury for Cleveland. There's just a lot of... There's not a lot that excites me on the waiver wire for this week. I'm looking at trades or I'm just kind of hanging tough unless there's somebody who develops an injury. But I mean, look at these guys. Ray Davis. I mean, what has Ray Davis done this year? Nothing. Look at this. He's gotten very little opportunities. Hasn't done jack squat. You need an injury there. I love Oronde Gadsden II, the son of a former NFL stud for the Miami Dolphins. He's a Chargers tight end. But in the Chargers game, he only got 1 target for 14 yards. He had 7 targets in the Denver game, and it looked like maybe he was going to get some more run, but we haven't seen that since. So that's to be determined. Raheem Mostert, he's starting to get carries now, and he's in the mix. So it's worth taking a look at. You know, they're playing Tennessee Titans this week. The Raiders are. And Mostert's someone to just monitor to see what he can do. He had 47% of the snaps to Genty's 54 in that blowout loss. So take that for what it is, the blowout loss against the Colts. Good God, what a disaster that was. Nightmare. My boy Tesla, he scored a touchdown, but he doesn't give you anything else besides that. Jamari Thrash, interesting guy like Isaiah Bond, but still need to see more targets. Going back up here. Samaje Perine, are we excited about him? Against Detroit, he had a little bit of a workload increase, but whatever. Doesn't do anything for me. Jalen Hyatt, I always loved Jalen Hyatt, but they never seem to be able to get him the ball consistently. He had 3 targets, though, against New Orleans, which is a really big deal for him. So if Hyatt can get more in tune with Jackson Dart, it's a name to keep an eye on. I'm just saying, Jalen Hyatt, a name to keep an eye on. That's all. I'm not saying add him. Not saying that at all. Chamari DK is interesting. Like I mentioned, Roman Wilson. I love Trey Harris. You know, now that San Diego might have to throw the ball even more, maybe Trey Harris will get more involved, but I think they still need an injury for him to usurp one of the wide receivers. Look at this. This is just Garbo. I like Devon Vele. Devon Vele had 2 targets, got 13 yards on 2 catches in the win over the Giants. But there's a lot of people to throw the ball to in New Orleans. Remember, I've mentioned Vele on the show several times. He's a product out of Utah. He's a Ute. You know, he was traded for a 4th and 7th round pick from the Broncos in the preseason. So just take a look. Will Shipley, what is he doing? Oh, nothing. Cool. LaQuint Allen, I like LaQuint Allen. There's not an opportunity for him, but you know, everyone's talking about Tootin, but LaQuint Allen could play. But you got to see some opportunity first before you make any moves. Pat Bryant hasn't done squat this year. All these guys, blah, blah, blah. Keaton Mitchell is a ghost. You know, there's nothing going on there. You know, Derrick Henry did score a touchdown at least, so all those people that were freaked out about Derrick Henry last time, like, oh, hey, at least he scored, right? Joe says, I'm sorry, the son of Oronde Gadsden? Welp, time to apply for my AARP card. Oh, yes,
wow,
Joe.
Dude.
You've lived long enough that Oronde Gadsden's son plays football in the NFL. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one to break it to you, Joe. You're a good guy. Andrew Burwell's here. He says, hey, would you start Mac Jones, Darnold, or Tua this week? Oh, I don't know how you can bench Darnold. Further notice, Darnold. I'm starting Darnold every week. I have been. They're going to Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville, their defense can create turnovers, but look, the Chiefs put up enough points last night. I'm confident that Sam Darnold and the Seahawks, they went on the road and beat Pittsburgh in week 2. Give me 2, Utah.
31-19.
Give me 2. So I think Darnold travels well and he can play well. He's got the weapons. There's just too many people he can work with to make plays. So I'm going Darnold here, and I'm completely confident in that choice. If he has a shit game, it'll be a surprise because he's played real well, Andrew. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. Really appreciate that. Other than that, there's just not a lot. There's not a lot of guys here this week where I'm like, oh, dude, we gotta have that guy. We gotta have that guy. I mean, other than the ones I mentioned last week that I already enjoyed. So when it comes to flex plays, you know, Michael Carter's still on a waiver wire. Pick him up. Mason Taylor, the tight end for the Jets, I do like him a lot. If you need a tight end fill-in, I'd consider him, but I'd still rather have Theo Johnson than Taylor right now. Only because, you know, he's got a year on him. Theo Johnson's a little more seasoned and ahead of schedule, and Dart can get him the ball a little bit better. Xavier Legette scored a touchdown for the Panthers in the win over the Dolphins. You could take a look at him, but I think that was more kind of a one-off, not too motivated unless I see more out of him, and so on and so forth. Chigakonkwo. I wish Chigakonkwo could finally score a touchdown. I'm going to be betting on him to score a touchdown the rest of the season until it finally happens. I really will. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's enough for me. I've had a pleasure. This is the Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. I'm Michael Govier from a hotel room.
Give me two.
I'm actually surprised. Seems like the internet connection was really solid. So I didn't think I could do this, but hey, good job, Crown Plaza. You got good internet. Or there's just not a lot of people at the hotel tonight, and I'm lucky. Either way, I'm glad we got to come on the air. I think the Tigers game is over. They lost, I'm sure. Yankees Blue Jays is an extra innings, so we'll see how that plays out. And it's been a pleasure. You know, you got questions in the meantime, jump in the Discord. Link is in the description of this show. The Discord's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're always here for you. You can ask any questions about your football or baseball teams or anything else that's on your mind. We got a lot of great people who go out of their way to answer questions and want to talk it out with you, and they'll give you reasons why. They won't just say, yeah, you should do this for that. There's a lot of reasons to make choices, but you want to focus on reasons that have something to do with the sport the player usually plays first, right? You know what I mean?
Great job.
All right. For everybody here at the Pallazzo Podcast, I'm Michael Govier. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to bed now, and I will see you all in the Discord. Patreon's open too. Patreon starts at $3, or you can join for free and just kind of keep an eye out. That's a lot of fun too. We got NFL and college football betting and fantasy rankings. I posted my rankings last week. I post the new positional rankings for all the positions. They look something like this. I'll give you here you go, a free preview. There it is, with notations and everything. And I got it color-coded for who my guys are, Govier's guys on this list here. See? These are the quarterback rankings for last week. We got the running backs, and I got guys, anybody who was in bold has an injury, and I give a designation as to what it is. We got hot and cold. I got bye weeks over here, and I got little notes right here, like this one about Bucky Irving. Total buzzkill here. Looks like he's out this week. I did these on Tuesdays or Wednesdays usually, and I was right about that. Bucky Irving did not play this week. What's this one here? RJ Harvey, finally. Give me more of that, please. That was after the Bengals game, and things went back to being shit for RJ Harvey. So, where did I have Woody Marks ranked? Oh, here we go. Look at that. Woody Marks coming into this week was ranked 47th on my running backs positional rankings. And I said here, 2 touchdowns against Tennessee, but I'm still dubious he will take over there. Boy, that seems like that ended up being true, did it not? Wide receiver rankings, and of course, tight ends with some green, Brock Bowers, wah-wah. It's all there for you. That's on the Patreon. You want to hit me up? You can hit me up on the Patreon. You can hit me up in the Discord or the Twitter or on here. You can always comment on the video. Taco Bell. Taco Tuesdays. Day. Hey, LeBron. Lame decision repeat. Not cool, bro. Do better. Peace, everybody.